familiar with that character though, which is a good thing to do anyway. Alright, so previously auto attack is he starts out from range, he'll web, jump, and hit multi-target from range. Okay, like if you see that. There's a bit of an area hit when he does that. He hit 3 people just then. Alright, if he's already in melee range, 1, 2, 3. So it does 2 punches and a kick, right? And it's single target. Okay, now let's compare. No bias, just real world results here. And you guys can decide what you think. Alright, so from range, he walks up. You don't get that quick approach anymore. Okay, so that's one thing, which can make a difference in Shadowland when you have the characters, how the AI, when you're doing really well in Shadowland, sometimes the AI will actually act like it's afraid and just run off the screen and hide in a corner. If you've done a lot of Shadowland, you know what I'm talking about. It's so annoying. So having an attack that doesn't use your cooldowns until you're in range to really rotate on that character. Spider-Man's like ranged ability where if you're like, where the hell is my enemy? He's off the screen. And you see him and then he goes whoop and jumps right toward him. And then you start hitting your abilities. They can come in handy. There are places where that's not just useless. So anyway, no ranged approach on this one. He does do that little jump that hits multi-target. 1, 2, 1, 2. It just seems kind of random. Hey, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Maybe after 6. That was after 8. That was after 2. So it's random. It's random when he jumps and does the multi-target hit. Okay. Alright. Okay, so that's the auto attack comparison. Now let's go first skill. Alright. First skill. He just jumps in the air, which is an iframe, a full iframe. Webs everything around him, and that's it. He just webs it. He doesn't really do a lot of DPS. Everything nearby. That's it, okay? Kind of a low damage attack, but he iframes and webs multiple targets. Valuable, nonetheless. Alright. Now, new first skill. Okay, guys, from the same spot, roughly. First skill. That appears to have better range. Yep, definitely has better range. Because as you just saw, previously he only webbed 4 out of 5 of these targets. And now, even if I scoot back a little, let's see. Oh yeah. Oh well, no, he missed that guy in the back. So if I scoot up a little bit, because I was standing basically right between these two dudes. So, why didn't he web that guy? That was weird. There we go. Alright, so, slightly better range on the first skill. It's a small improvement, but an improvement nonetheless. So you're gonna web a few more targets on average. A little more reliable crowd control. That's nice. It's a slight tweak, but it's a good tweak. Okay. does seem... Targeting in this game is funky sometimes. On average, though, he webs all 5. And then he does do an attack when he lands, which the Homecoming uniform does not. He actually does an attack on the primary target, right? So if you watch, whichever target has the reticle, the crosshairs, he will do an actual attack on that target at the end. So it's going to be the guy on the left. Yeah. So it's going to do more damage than the previous one. And it is a full iframe once again. Okay. So clear improvement there. So I'm gonna actually be writing this down. All right, so let's see. All right, so auto attack, I'm actually gonna give that a not as good as the last one. First skill, I'm gonna give that an improvement. So I'll do like kind of downgrade, roughly equal, or upgrade. Right? Let's do the second skill now. Okay. The Proxima from last night seems like it was, you know, the initial assessment was that there are some quality of life improvements, but it doesn't actually change her a whole ton. There are a little bit of changes and a little more damage, but they're like some small quality of life improvements. It fixes a couple of her iframes from partial to full, but it's not really drastic change. Corvus, however, there are some really nice changes. Some quality of life improvements, again, just like with Proxima, but Corvus's skills are more different with the uniform than Proxima's are with the uniform. There's more change, at least on first impression, you know, because we went in and did similar to what we're doing right now, looked at every skill. And the world bosses, I actually compared old skill to new skill. I didn't do that with Thanos, but... Well, with Thanos, I did a couple of the skills compared directly to the last uniform. But... Goro 187. Don't borrow credit card. Don't do that. Hopefully you're joking. But Goro 87 got Iron Man and Cap. Nice. Okay, so second skill. Let's go back to Homecoming. Uniform. Come here, buddy. There you are. All right, second skill. Yeah, random. Identity theft is not a joke, Jim. Oh my gosh. All right, second skill. Iframe. Full iframe. Does a hit, a web, and another hit, right? Technically 3 hits, because the web does a little damage when it hits them. Okay, so as far as targeting, this will web targets in a very close proximity to each other. So they have to be really nearby. Like if we do like right here. See how the targeting is kind of weird. It only gets one. See these guys? There's a tiny bit of knockback when he kicks them. So it's moving them closer to each other, little by little. But see, you're only getting 2 out of 3 right there. All right, let's go compare. Oops. Okay. Second skill. Let's see this. From roughly the same spot. Oh man, that's cool. So cool. I mean, I saw this all last night, but it's still cool. Okay, so first change. Movement. Lots of movement. Second, auto-targeting that is much broader than before. And the web is applied when he dashes through them. Which he does, instead of sort of staying in place. Tons of movement. And it hits all 3. Let's see what it does to these 5. So it hits those 3. Let's try it from this side. Oh, look at that. All 5. So depending on the angle and what you've got going on, the enemies where they're standing, it hits a lot more targets. That's a ton more range, you guys. Like a ton. And more hits for sure. Yeah, look at all those hits. So I'm gonna go ahead and say upgrade on the second skill. That is a significant difference. Huge difference. All right. Oh yeah, Brandon. We totally yeah, Goro, no doubt. This is just part 1 of the update. There's gonna be another wave of stuff. I know, it's so cool. This is just part 1 of the update. There's more coming. Excellent point, Goro. That's totally true. Yeah, it's so cool. But yeah, Brandon, it's not just his 3rd skill, it's his 3rd and his 5th that you can pilot. Or 4th? The one where he does the big loop, you can pilot that too, not just when he turns into that like spaceship, like ship thing. There are 2 of Iron Man's skills you can actually pilot. 4th. Yeah, 4th. Oh, Goro has us on the serious note. Oh, yeah, okay. Hang on. Oh, yeah, really good, Goro. Goro says, be careful if you Google anything Marvel at the moment. I was trying to find out what's in the new Tony Stark chest, and Google searches listed movie spoilers. So the short version is, don't go on Google till you see the movie. Yeah, that's pretty standard. Like, if you're going around Googling stuff before the movie, what are you doing? If you care about spoilers, don't do that. That's kind of basic internet street smarts, you know? But yeah, great thing to mention. Yep. So yeah, Kenny, to your comment, you can pilot two of Iron Man's new skills. And that's a completely new mechanic in the game. Being able to pilot the character while they're in an iframe. Or, not an iframe, but while they're in a big skill animation. Because the ship isn't an iframe. That's the interesting part. So, anyway, on to 3rd skill. Direct comparison. Random Lunatic. You watching this? All right, 3rd skill. This is the big web swing. So no CC, no crowd control on it, but he primarily focuses, he really focuses his primary target on this. This is a real bread and butter skill for like world boss. Staying in a big iframe This is one of the best skills to avoid damage. And it does hit multi-target. You know, it does pass through whatever he's swinging at. But it really does focus. It works well for single target as well. However, the range on the swing, it is pretty darn good. So, let's see how many hits. 5 hits. Now let's compare. Okay. New third skill. Oh my god. So cool. Get out of here, man. Okay, first of all, way more multi-target oriented. Tons of knockback, you know, which is handy. Interrupt. That's gonna guard break people. You know, unless they have immune to guard break or super armor, you know. But that knockback is gonna have some good utility. And it groups the targets. Okay, let's see, these guys are pretty spread apart. Now they're clumped together. So it groups the targets, knocks them all over the place. You know, knocks them back really far. It's a full iframe. Yep, full iframe. This is a major upgrade, you guys. Big upgrade on the third. Holy crap. So far, 3 out of 5, or 4 out, well, the auto attack was a downgrade. So far, 3 out of 4 are upgrades. Okay, that's such a huge improvement. Oh my gosh, that's insane. Also removes tiny iframe delay, says random. Yeah, that's true, because with the web swing, there's like this wind up. And it just jumps straight up. Yep. And also when he lands, there was a little bit of a animation delay on the landing as well. On the Homecoming. This is very smooth. You could chain it really easily. Like 3. Right into 2. So, very nice. Very, very, very nice. Good grief. That's cool. Alright. 4th skill. This is the swinging cars and stuff. I'm going to try this on a single target guy here, so we track the hits. $36 hits. Let's do it again and see how consistent it is. $54. You kidding me? $54. Looks like that's the ceiling on it. Somewhat random, apparently. Yeah. There's a little bit of variable in the number of hits. It looks like 54 is the max, though. As low as in the 30s and as high as in the 50s. That's interesting. Yeah, so we're seeing like anywhere between 36 and 54. That's a really big variance. Not incredibly reliable. Good, but not incredibly consistent, you know? So you kind of never quite know what you're going to get out of that 4th skill, DPS-wise. As far as crowd control, it's fantastic. Like, let's go over here. All these dudes. So it webs just everything around him. They do have to be kind of close. That guy in the back did not get webbed. I'll start out in the back so you can see the front. See that? It completely missed 3 out of 5. So the targeting on this is not real reliable either. See? Half the characters did not get webbed there. So there's 6 guys. And there he gets 5 out of 6. I'm standing right in the middle of them. And he gets all of them. But if I'm off to the side even a bit, he missed one. So it's a bit random where they are. There's 4 out of 6. 2 out of 6? Are you kidding me? From the same spot? Yeah, so targeting on that skill is Sketchville. 2 out of 6 again, and I was facing them. Okay, look where he is. Just pause and look to appreciate where Spider-Man is in relation to these enemies. Okay, if he doesn't hit the guy immediately to his left, that's crazy. Yeah, see how inconsistent that is? I mean, I was standing right next to him and it's not going to CC him. It's not perfect. I mean, it was a huge improvement over past uniforms to have a skill like this. But look how unreliable it is, actually. You know? At least in terms of 100% crowd control. So let's say you were using this in a rumble in Shadowland, or wave mode, or boss mode. You're not going to get predictable results. See, and there he gets all 6. And like I say, it is a great improvement over the previous uniform, but let's go compare this to his new 4th. I have a feeling it's going to be an improvement. Okay, standing in the same place. Many times the guy immediately to his left didn't even get CC'd. Strangely enough. Let's see, new 4th. Okay, the targeting still looks a little random. We might still have the same targeting issue. So it looks like he's averaging 5 out of 6 of them. We got all 6 there. Four out of 6 there. So the targeting, he randomly missed the guy I was standing right next to on his right. I was right about there. So I was a little bit of space with the guy on my right, but he webbed these dudes all the way in the back. So still have targeting issues on this 4th skill. Yeah, see, he didn't get that guy up front, but he gets the guy all the way in the back. So, okay, so for targeting, I'm not going to call that enough of an improvement to be an upgrade. That's going to be a roughly on par. However, for DPS, like roughly equal, he does a lot more hits. Or no, not a lot more hits, because if you figure the car's swinging, there's tons of hits. What I meant to say there is it looks more bursty. Because previously the car's swinging, if you've played that uniform a lot, you know that the DPS is pretty steady, but it's rather slow. It's not a real bursty, high damage type of skill. It's just kind of a sustained, damaging them over time. It's nice in like Battle World, you know, where, you know, it just webs up the enemies and just kind of wears them down. This looks a little more bursty. Assuming that the total DPS is going to be similar, the skill animation is quicker. Much quicker. So I think you're going to get probably better DPS out of this one. If you consider you can use it, it completes faster. But overall, it is an iframe. It is an iframe. Is it partial? Let's see. There's a little pause when he lands on the ground before you can move. But I'm imagining you can probably chain a skill out of that. Let's see. And right at the end. Yeah, you can skill cancel. So that's not a problem. But it is an iframe, just like the previous. I'm gonna call that kind of equal. There are some differences, but as far as just kind of a raw comparison, I'm gonna call that sort of equal to the last skill. Okay, fifth. I don't know, that one's kind of interesting, that comparison. All right, and fifth with the previous skill, we know it's a single hit, just hits like a truck. 360% attack power, something like that. It's just blam! It hits everything right there. It's all of them. Boom! And that's 3 hits per character. 6 guys times 3 is 18. So it does 3 hits per enemy. Reliably. Yeah, 18 every time. Okay, so 3 hits per enemy. Full iframe. Now let's go, and it does serious damage. It's a very, very high percentage multiplier of your attack power. In the 300s, which is a high damage skill. Now, fifth on this. Wow, so many more hits. This is a smaller attack power multiplier. I think it's in the 200s, like 230-ish. I'll go look in a second, the exact number. But the attack power multiplier on this skill is lower than before. But as you can see, it does a ton more hits in the 40s instead of 18. 45. 38. That's interesting. 45. 44. 41. Okay, so there is some variability in the number of hits. Yep. The number of hits is kind of random. Kind of reminiscent of the Homecoming 4th skill. How much it varies. Yeah, very inconsistent in the number of hits, but it does kind of group them. You see that? Kind of groups them together before it does the big boulder hits at the end. See that? It pulls them. So it does some interrupt with the knock forward instead of knock back. Bunches them up and does a ton of hits. Plus then you get the debuff that it applies, which is totally new. So I'm gonna call that an upgrade on the 5th skill. There's much better utility on that. It's a what is that debuff? The long one. Let's go look. On the 5th skill, we get a 4-second stun and an all-speed debuff for 10 seconds. On a roughly 6-second cooldown. So if you keep your rotation tight, that can be a full uptime on that debuff. Easily. Plenty of breathing room for that to be full uptime. 10-second debuff on a 6-second cooldown. Yeah, plenty of time to keep that up. Plus, if you consider 4-second stun on a 6-second cooldown. Dang, dude. Like, 4 out of every 6 seconds, they're stunned. Not to mention webbed. Which is like, you know, don't forget, if someone is immune to web, this gives him some variety in the utility. Oh, you can still stun them. Don't forget how valuable that is, that there's 2 different kinds of crowd control here. So he has web and stun. Which is another reason it's an upgrade. So yeah, overall, that's... And if you count the 2 different types of CC, 2 CCs, that's an upgrade as well. So overall, you're looking at 5 out of 6 criteria that we just tested are an up. No. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so we just tested 7 things. Auto attack, skills 1 through 5, and I'm adding the type of crowd control available. So that's 7 criteria. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 out of 7 of the criteria we tested are upgrades. 1 is about equal, and 1 is a downgrade, his auto attack. So overall, the vast majority of what this uniform brings to the table is an upgrade. I'm definitely pleased with that. Glad I bought it. I mean, I would have anyway, but bias free. Hopefully that's a really technical review that we just did. Just looking at the actual mechanics of it, regardless of how much I love Spider-Man, I think it's a pretty clear upgrade from the Homecoming uniform, which is really saying something, because that uniform was a tremendous improvement to Spider-Man.